Oh, we got bodies already. Okay. Let me get myself. There we are. Okay, so Brenda's back. Hi, Brenda. Haven't seen you in a bit. Kathy's here. And Julie's here. Yes, Kathy, we are hoping that the tube works today like we want it to. So we've done some changes, minor ones. Walter's been researching.
We've done just pretty much everything we can, but
Yeah.
I can't find too many people. There are people complaining on the internet about freezing problems, but why was it with the way we're recording it? We're kind of limited as to what we can change. But
well, so what I've done on here is we found a setting on the iPad for the camera, which is what we are using, that we could drop it. We were broadcasting in 1080p. We've dropped it to 720p. And we have two systems here on our network. And one is sort of, it's supposed to be a better one, but it's supposed to be 5 gigs, but we've had problems with it. So we've dropped it down, made sure we're attached to something we call Clio 1, which is the usual standard broadcast range or whatever. And we're hoping that will help out the problem. Hi, Jetty.
I'm just going to
And hi, Catherine.
my phone in case I need to use it for something.
Oh, okay. So anyways, if we freeze, and it looks like we usually, lately we've been freezing in around the 35-minute mark, 36-minute mark, something like that. The thing we might be having is that our provider, which is Bell Canada, they have a tendency to throttle your speed down, which isn't very nice of them, considering we're paying the top dollar for unlimited uploading, downloading, and the fastest speed that we can get in our area at the moment. And so that kind of ticks me off, but I don't know if that's the problem or not. I suspect this problem, I think, started to occur after we had to upgrade for iOS.
Yeah.
And YouTube and Apple do not play nice together. They never have. Google and Apple seem to be rivals about it all. And they say nicey things back to each other, but then as soon as one or the other does an upgrade or a change to their system, it seems to affect the other. So I don't know. We'll see. So here's the strategy for today. If this conks out on us, I'll give it a few seconds. You'll probably still be able to hear us. And then I'm going to end the broadcast right there. But I'm going to reinitiate it. So it'll be 2 parts. Now, I tried that last week, but what happened, 2 things happened last week. Mm-hmm. First thing that happened was when I went back in again, we were still frozen. Mm. And so I left it for a while, and then we finished off. People could still hear us. But then when I was playing around with the final settings, I inadvertently deleted the second part. Not that we had much going on in the second part. So we'll see what happens today. If it freezes up again today, maybe we have to shorten the broadcasts. Maybe we have to do them in 2 parts. Or maybe we have to look at a whole different way of doing this, and I'm really not sure what that is. We've been playing around with a third-party program. Not been having a lot of luck with that, but I haven't really played around with it that much. We'll see. So just bear with us. It may even mean that we may have to take a hiatus for a little while from doing Stephen and Walter Lives until we figure out the problem. So don't know. Stay tuned. We'll find out. We'll see. Maybe it'll be like the reverse thing. Remember we had the whole reverse thing happening back for weeks and weeks, and we couldn't figure out what the problem was, and suddenly it corrected itself. And again, that could have been because of something YouTube was doing.
Or Apple.
Or whatever. We're kind of at the whim of the providers of the spaces that we are putting our live recordings in. I mean, there's another way. We could go to Facebook Live, but the problem with Facebook Live is you'd all have to be part of our Facebook. And not that's a problem necessarily. Everybody else is buffering too. Buffering, yep. Okay. This is not good. Okay, I think I'm going to have to cancel us out.
Just a sec.
Maybe I should go back to Clio 2.
Upload. I don't know where I'm.
Phyllis has restarted at its old speed. But, yeah, Phyllis, but that's where we were having the problems. Oh, wait, we're working
back.
now, I think.
Yeah, well,
No, are we?
our upload is slow on Clio. I
One?
think this is Clio 1. Hang on. I bet you that's what it was. Our upload was screwing up. It's 683 right now. 685, which is lower than it normally
Okay,
is.
well, we're not frozen, or are we frozen? We're frozen. At least on here. No, we're back
No,
again.
we're there.
All right. Now it says, okay, Kath says everything is fine. Carol
Yeah.
says all right now, no buffering. Now you're back, says Phyllis. Okay, let's see what happens. Don't know. But anyways, okay. Update on my mother? Don't care. Moving on. Yeah, honestly, I don't care. I have finally come to it. I talked to my sister for a while last night. And my sister says, look, we've done all we can for her in the whole bit. Yeah, she's still bitching about stuff. Now it was about her hair. And she says to me, this is funny in a sad way. She turns around and says, I said, well, what have you, I made the mistake of asking her about her hair to see if, you know, it's been a couple of weeks since she got a perm, wondered if she wanted to go and have some styling done to it or whatever people do to their hair. I don't know. And she goes, well, I'm really not happy with my hair. She used the wrong curlers in my perm. She used two smaller curlers in that, and I really don't want to go to her anymore. And I said, well, Mom, what's the alternative? She says, well, the help here say that there's a place right across the street, that hair salon. Well, there's a little shopping mall. And yes, there is a hair salon in there. And I said, and how are you going to get there, Mother? I can't take you. And how are they going to do your hair? You can't stand, you can't walk. They're not, don't have the facilities for that.
She's so bad that they need to use a lift to get her out of bed
Yeah.
at the nursing home. So how in the world are you going to get her hair washed at
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I said. And she says, well, maybe we could call one of those women, that woman that did my hair in the hospital. And I said, the woman that's mother had just had a stroke, kind of a thing. I said,
have a feeling she didn't want to come back.
no, I have a feeling she didn't want to come back either. And that was when my mother was still in the hospital, and I got somebody else. And I never heard from that lady again, and I didn't want to bother her because, you know, she's probably going through a bad time. And anyways, I said to Mom, the lady that does the hair here, it's her salon in the nursing home. I said, it's her domain. I don't think she's going to allow somebody to come in and use her salon for you. So I kind of said to my mother,
Then didn't she say, well, she could come do it in her room?
yeah. And I said, no, this isn't the hospital, Mom. They can't do it in your room. She just doesn't get the reality of any of this stuff. And my mother's very picky about her hair, but if it's something else to bitch about, it's something else to bitch about. So I said to her, well, I'll give the lady a call because I had some unfinished business I needed to take care of with this woman to do with payments and stuff, and she wasn't answering my emails or anything like that. So, and I thought, if I get a hold of her too, I'll talk about my mother being so picky. So I said to Mom in the meantime, Mom, she's done your hair once. She doesn't know you. You don't know her. Think about the hairstylist you've ever gone to in the past where it takes a little while for them to get accustomed to what your style is. What are you doing?
I'm just looking.
Well, you isn't like staring like Mr.
I
Magoo.
can't read the screen, so I'm just checking.
Well, there's nothing. Oh, well, we're still moving. It's still on here too.
Okay.
So I said, give her another chance. I mean, I said it's the only ball game in town. So, you know, tell her what you want. If you don't like something from the last time, you tell her. But that's my problem. My mother won't tell her. And so I phoned the lady today and I talked to her directly and talked about other things. And I said, you know, I told her my mother wasn't that happy. She thought the curlers were too small. And the lady said, well, her hair was really short. And I says, I know, I understand it. I said, I don't have a problem with what you're doing. I said, my mother, well, she never said anything. She says, she was very sweet, very nice. Yeah. I said, my mother's a passive aggressive. I mean, that's what she's at. But behind your back, she's cutting you up left and right. I said, she's very picky about her hair and, you know, so whatever. And I've decided that I'm not going to fight my mother's battle with this because it's endless. And I'm going to say to my mother, okay, Mom, whenever you want your hair done, call the lady. I'm going to put the number of the lady. And she comes around to the rooms anyways and talks to them and asks them when they'd like their hair done again. And apparently she has an appointment booked down at the main desk when she's not there. There's 2 days out of the week she's not there, kind of a thing. And, you know, you can book it in that way. But I figure my mother's got her cognitive abilities. She's able to use her telephone and the whole bit. When she wants her hair done, she can make the arrangements. She can ask one of the help there to call them up for her, the whole bit. She looked after her own hair when she was in the apartment, so she can do that with this too.
She ordered a taxi and everything take her to
the hairdresser. Yeah, well, up until
like a week before she went to the hospital.
Yeah, true. So basically, having discussion with my sister said to me nice things and said, you know, that I had done all kinds of things for her, kind of did everything to the best of my ability, went beyond and above the call of duty kind of a thing. She's in a place now where she'll be safe, she'll be fed, she'll be watered, she'll be changed, she'll be toileted, they'll look after her and the whole bit. We need not worry anymore. And my sister's right. And I'm just going to get out of that mindset. And from now on, I am not going to volunteer any more things to my mother. Because as soon as I ask her, so...
That's not going to happen. You always say that, but then all the time you always turn around and you say, oh, I asked her. Oh, I'm sorry I asked her.
Yeah, whatever.
You do that all the time.
Well, it is my mother. But anyways, I have to pull back a little bit. So I'll see how successful I'll be with that. My wife here will nag me to death anyways about it. So.
Yeah, well, that's what wives do.
Yeah, apparently. And you're a good one. Phyllis says she should stop with the perm, get a good cut, and will look just fine unless her hair is very thin. Her hair is thin, Phyllis.
Yeah, actually, it's gotten really thin these days.
My mother's hair is over-processed too, but
yeah, basically.
It was growing out. And then...
Actually, it wasn't looking too bad when it was before she got the perm. She didn't like it, but... The perm was pretty horrendous.
Oh, it was, yeah. It was kind of a...
Because it went really, really, really curly. And it went really, really curly. And then you could see right through her scalps.
Yeah. Whatever. So let's move on to there. Oh, Andy's here. Hi, Andy. Carol. I think I said hi to Carol. I think I got everybody so far. Okay, moving on. What's coming up on the vlog? I'm going to take you on a tour of my minimalist version of Christmas decorating. Christmas. Bah. Humbug.
Yeah, especially we were watching stuff on the weekend. One person we were watching lived in a huge, huge, huge house. And she had like about 12 Christmas trees.
Yeah, she had one in every room. Including the bathroom. Who has that time? I don't know. I'm retired. Bah humbug. Phyllis says, listen to Walter, don't ask. When you do, you create an opening. Yes, Phyllis, you're right. So anyways, tomorrow on my vlog, I did a little video showing you what I did do for decorating. And I only do one room. It's a rec room. And that's where we'll all be on Christmas Day. And so be it. But we're going to come to a little discussion here later about why we hate Christmas. Or why I especially hate Christmas. I don't think Walter ever liked it. I don't know.
No, I never wrote.
No.
In my adult life, I was never thrilled by that.
Nah, it doesn't thrill me about decorating for anything. But whatever. So, that's coming up in the vlog, and I have some other things showing in the vlog. And today, I finished this placemat right here. And that's all done in the hoop, they call it, the embroidery machine. Now, I didn't bring it up from downstairs, but I should have to show you. Well, maybe on the vlog tomorrow I'll do a comparison, but I'll show you the first version I did. It went horribly wrong. Just horribly wrong. It looks like it's a mutant. But this one worked. I might make another one because these I think would look really nice on my dinner table on Christmas Day as well. But they're fun to do once you figure it out. So, Walter has finished his surgeon classes now. What was the last thing you did?
I did 2 scarves.
Ooh, how
right?
nice.
And
lady
what else
scarves.
did I do? Oh, I did a fitted sheet. It was a baby sheet.
Oh, baby crib. Why, is there something you're not telling me? Are we
No.
going to hear the pitter-patter of little feet and it's not going to be the squirrel?
No.
No. Oh.
She didn't want us to do a great big one. Well, I don't know what we're going to do with it. Maybe it'll be dust covered or something.
Andy says, for someone who hates Christmas, you made some beautiful things. It was because I was making things, really. It isn't that I hate... Well, we'll come to that in a minute. I'll explain that in more detail. Finished my modern quilt class. I'm in the process of quilting the quilt now and then putting the binding on. When I have that done, I'm going to show it. I'm quite happy with it now that it's the right proportions, because I think I mentioned last week that it was incredibly long, like 48 inches wide and 92 inches long. I mean, great if you're 7 feet tall and sleeping in a skinny bed. But I took off 2 rows of blocks, and that made it 5 by 5. And with the borders on it, it's a more reasonable throw size with that. And I'm not sure if this week will be the last class for the bag that I'm making, my purse, as Walter calls it. I call it a satchel. Because I was the only one in class last week. The other 2 ladies that were supposed to be there didn't show up for one reason or the other. Actually, the other 3 ladies. So it was like one-on-one, which was kind of good because the stuff we were doing I found really complex. If I had to do it on my own, reading the pattern, it wouldn't have happened. No way. So there's still quite a bit to do on this bag. And she was saying, I think she figured we're never going to get the bag done in one more class. So we may have an extra class thrown in to finish the bag up. I think it's going to be a cool bag when it's done, but it has been not really frustrating. It's just that this was a little bit more than I expected out of it. I mean, I have learned quite a bit about zippers and different styles of zippers and little tips and tricks, but that's part of the problem with the class because the instructor, she's really good, but she looks at the instructions and tells you how good she loves this particular designer of patterns and says all that, and then she changes everything. She turns around and says, but I prefer to do this way. And actually her suggestions are very good. But, you know, you're trying to follow a pattern and she's talking to you here and we're all at different levels. It gets a little harebrained. And we've got one more embroidery class. And this is the class that we were doing these in it. That's why I did one in advance, because I figured it was going to be full of pitfalls, and I was right. However, nobody got it finished in the class. Well, no, it takes quite a while to do it, and but the store was dead on Saturday, which is people must have been out Christmas shopping, because every Saturday
they weren't shopping for fabric.
No, obviously not. Every Saturday, it's always been like packed, and that's one of the problems with the classes because. The class is big to start with, although we had a couple of people not show up. Thank goodness, that gave us more room, because when we were doing this thing, you have to actually pull your hoop out from the sewing machine and have to do some trimming around it, and you don't want it to pop out of your hoop or you're screwed when it comes to placement. And guess what happened? It popped out of my hoop. Well, somebody else's popped out of the hoop a little bit earlier. And so the instructor was trying to do a way to show how we could probably get it realigned, but she wasn't sure. And I decided, well, there is a series of stitches that you do when you first put this thing down that does an outline of the piece, so you know where to place your fabrics. And I thought, if I put in some more stabilizer in my hoop, do that basic outline stitch, I can use it as a template and lay the piece back on top of it, line it up, and then it'll work. And the instructor says, You're a genius. And I said, yes, in all modesty, I am.
It's always good when you can teach the instructor something.
I think she was a little pissed. She had to get in there, though, and give me, you know, typical, oh, I shouldn't say it, I got too many women on here. You know, typical type of person who always has to add something to it. Never mind, I'm getting in too deep. But anyways, so I've learned other things in that class, and that's great. Catherine says, I love your modern quilt that you've shown so far. Oh, Catherine, I only showed you bits and pieces. Once you see it, I am very
really
happy
good.
with it. The colors in it are like, they're bold. The design is bold. It's very modern. And yeah, I'm very happy with it, but I will show it to you soon. I don't have that much more quilting to do on it. So hopefully I won't screw that up. But so that's our sewing classes. Had quilting guild this week too, and it was a Christmas potluck. Okay, this guild there's only 2 guys in it, and the rest are women. So there's 92 members. All right, so 90 members are women. It's a potluck. They divided the alphabet by last name in half. First half had to bring savory, second half had to bring sweets, okay? I was in the first half. So I made these spirals. You've seen them. I call them ham roll-ups, but you know, it's basically tortilla shell, a little cream cheese that I add a little mayonnaise to, and some other secret ingredients, and some ham, and a pickle in the center. And I know some people will put in like maraschino cherry kind of thing with it. I've seen them done that way. You can stick whatever you want to stick in these things, basically a dog turd, and it would still look, oh look, a Tootsie Roll. And you roll them up and you chill them and then you slice them up, and you know, so that's what I made. Well, a lot of people got stuff at the last minute from like the local grocery store.
Which is typical.
Yeah. And then some people brought things that are usually served hot, but there was no way we could keep anything warm. One woman brought a great big crock of baked beans. Okay, how are you going to keep those warm? Now, personally, I don't mind cold beans. But I didn't have anything like that. Anything that involved using utensils, I didn't have, because I didn't bring any utensils.
Oh, is that one of those ones where they expect you to bring your own plate?
Yeah, lug a mug and all that crap,
yeah,
right?
Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, I understand now where that comes from, because one of the ladies that's in that guild, she tried to start that at work. She was from my work.
Oh,
She
yeah.
tried to start that at work, like bring your own plate for a potluck, and that didn't last long.
Well, I brought a plate. I brought a disposable plastic plate. You know, they're the ones, I buy them at Costco. They are meant to be thrown away, but they're not made of paper, they're made of a plastic. In fact, you could reuse them if you wash them. I know, don't go on to my back about the environment, okay, on this kind of stuff. So I took a plate and a couple of serviettes, but I forgot about flatware. I didn't think about that. And I'm off coffee right now, so I didn't take a coffee mug with me. I should have taken a plastic cup though, because they had a little bit of punch, but they did have some extra paper cups there, so that was okay. Now, usually though, they have some extra things laying around there for people who forget or whatnot. No, I didn't with the flatware. So I just ate what was anything that was fingered, which most of it was. Most of it, they were unwrapping it when they got there and taking the price sticker off. And now here's my thought about this. Most of the people who belong to the guild are like me. They're retired. It's not like we just found out about this event. We've known for, well, anybody who's a regular member of the guild, they do this every year, so they know that in December's meeting is going to be the potluck. Plus, they send out a newsletter, and they send out an email reminder and everything about it. So, I mean, it was no surprise. So, what I really hate is when people go, oh, I was just so busy, I didn't have time to get anything. One woman, this one was funny, she says, I couldn't find anything in the grocery store that I thought would be under the savory, she said. I mean, I could have found cookies or squares or stuff, but anything under savory that she said that basically didn't need an oven. So she says, I went home and raided my refrigerator. I found a jar of olives, a jar of pickles, and some little cocktail sausages. I put them all on little skewers on a stick, and I saw them laying there, and everybody was looking at them going, What do you think that is?
Yeah, you're right. Nobody, like, I mean, you'd think they'd have some planning ahead of time. And a lot of people don't have that much imagination. Like, I mean, they used to have, where I worked was government. So the government, if you worked for the government, they don't give you Christmas lunch. You have to buy your own. So they sometimes had potlucks or whatever at Christmas. And people would all bring stuff, right? Well, most people are pretty good. Luckily, in our place, we had sort of facilities where you could keep things warm. A lot of people brought stuff in crock pots, and we were able to plug them in under your desk or something like that, right? But then you'd always get one that says, "Oh, I don't cook, and I don't do this, or I don't do that, and or I'm a guy and I can't do this, right? Or I don't cook or something," and like. You can go out and buy a bag of buns or something. You can go out and buy some crackers. Like, I mean, their arms aren't painted on, right? So.
Well, then the other problem is, there's ones going down going, do you think that's gluten-free?
Oh, goodness. Let's get on
Oh,
that.
I'm on a diet. I shouldn't have any of that. But boy, when they got to where the sweet table was...
Suddenly gluten-free doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, they were up to their little thighs in brownies and Christmas cake and cookies and candy and chocolates. There was a lot of that stuff there. So, anyways.
It's like I used to work with a couple of people that when there was a potluck and they had all these goodies and stuff like that, like, we won't say names, but anyway, they would, oh, that's not on my diet plan. That's not on my diet plan. But they would go later on, they'd go buy a bag of cookies and eat all the cookies at their desk because that's when somebody wasn't watching.
No, yeah, I know who you mean. So, anyways, and good news about the guild. Well, not that you care, but the school board is nasty. They had this big thing called the community use of schools, and so through that part of their organization, our guild has met for years. I guess. I mean, I'm a new member, so I don't know. At the board office, the school board office, and in their cafeteria. Well, over the summer, the guild doesn't meet over the summer, they renovated the cafeteria, and now the cafeteria looks like a McDonald's. Instead of long tables with chairs that are movable, because that's what we did before the guild meeting would start, some people would go in and rearrange the furniture so that they had like chairs in a big horseshoe in many levels because there's always a presenter so you could see the presenter. And then they had some of the tables off the side for the various conveners. You know, there's the one where you can go in and exchange scraps of material, and there's another one where you sign up for the show and share, and another one for the retreats, and one for membership, and all this kind of stuff. Well, once they renovated the cafeteria, one, it wouldn't have been conducive to our type of meeting, but two, the board has decided they're not letting the cafeteria be used by outside groups. So they put us in this double room kind of a thing, long, skinny. There's 92 of us, and not all members show up at every meeting, but the vast majority of them do. Like, there'll be at least 70 there, or 75 or so at any given meeting. So they can't even set up the tables for their convener thing. They have to do that out in the hall, and they do it at break time, and it's just mayhem and chaos. Well, they found a new place to go to. Church, and actually it's closer to home for me. A church was renovating its sanctuary, and what they did was they pulled out all their pews, and they're putting in chairs, and they're making it into a multi-use room. And they contacted them, and I guess the price was right. The space is good. They sound very...
They're doing the opposite thing the school board did.
Yeah. They're being very accommodating and the whole bit. Yeah. Yeah. They're taking out the stuff. And yeah.
Like, I mean, it's kind of, to me, it sounds kind of stupid what the school board did, because they've put together a room that isn't very functional.
The school board never does anything that's smart. And that cafeteria that they have in there is not one for the students. See, our board office is actually attached to a high school as well. There's two areas. One's the board office part, and there's a connecting hall to the school area. But this cafeteria is for the use of the staff and whatever else they do in there. And I haven't gotten a really good look at it because it was all dark, and I sort of peeked in, but I couldn't see for sure. But it looked like a McDonald's. And It seems to be that seems to be the movement in schools up in this area. Like we went into the library of the new school north of us, and they have booths in there. They look like restaurant booths, and they have bar tables with high back. What do you call those? High chairs.
Well, there's a movement in office furniture these days where they make it look more like a different. They had that at work too. They had high top meeting rooms.
Yeah.
And they had this office furniture that looked like a couch at work, which was really strange.
Yeah. Well, anyways, what's people saying here? Saying so many people have diet issues. Yeah, I know. And where I work, Phyllis says, the guys would bring the ice and eat the food. I could bring the ice. It's not a problem. But anyways, it was okay, and we're going to go to this new one in our first meeting in January, and I think everybody's looking forward to that. Plus, I signed up for a retreat with them, and they can only handle like about 30 people or 25 or something. And they call it a stay-at-home and sew or something, but basically they rent a hall in our area, and you go and you sew all day kind of a deal, and you go home that night. But it's over 3 days. I've only signed up right now for 2 days for it, the Friday and the Saturday, because I kind of thought, haven't been to one before. I might want to kill people. I don't know by the end of it. The one thing is, I know it's going to be social, and that's fine, but I don't like it when someone stands over my shoulder, and they will because I'm a man, and to see what I'm doing. And then you start going, blah, 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 and you don't want to be rude, and you talk back.
That's not the way I would do it.
And then your hand goes underneath the needle, and you're screwed. So, I mean, what's the way you would do it?
No, I'm just saying that.
Oh, yes.
I mean, somebody's watching you, and they look at you, and they turn around and say, well, that's not the way I would do it.
Are you going to use that color there? Yes, I am. Well, if I was me, well, you're not me.
I told Shirley when she was standing behind me at surgery class the other day, and I said, she was standing behind me looking at me, I said, you can move away if you like.
Yes.
I hate it when people watch me.
Well, I've had people in the guild come in and see me taking a class in there, and they come over, they're being friendly and everything, and that's fine, and I'm trying to be friendly to them too, but I'm in a class. I'm trying to get something done. I'm trying to learn here. I don't need to hear about, oh yeah, I made all this stuff for my grandchildren for Christmas, and oh, my oldest son, he's just off somewhere. You've been to Australia, haven't you? Well, I'm off to... Could you put your tongue down here under my needle, please? Right across. That'll fix that problem. I mean, I know they're just being fun, nice, kind of a thing, and that kind of deal, but I'm busy, so get off my back. But anyways... So, so that's the guild in February 1st to 3rd. Walter says, while I'm at that, he might paint the living room. No, he won't.
Go away.
No, he won't. No, it won't happen. It won't happen in 1,000 years. I don't really care. I like the color. If he paints the living room, then the next thing we have to do is get new furniture, rearrange stuff in there. And that means having to clean out shit that's in there. But, I suppose. So, moving on.
Anybody say anything?
Yeah, but no, last comment was Phyllis's about the ice. And we're not frozen yet. What time are we at on here? Ooh, we're getting close to when it may freeze. So, hold on to your booty, people. We could freeze up here. Okay. So let's talk about why I hate Christmas. Honestly and truly, I don't absolutely hate Christmas. It's more or less all the things associated with Christmas that I hate. When I was a kid, I loved Christmas. Don't all kids love Christmas?
You didn't have to do anything.
No, didn't have to do anything. And then once I grew up and got older and the whole bit, I still liked Christmas. And there were people would have Christmas parties, and we used to get invited to those, and now nobody invites us to anything.
And no, not a lot of people have Christmas parties anymore.
No. Those were in the days, okay, sending out Christmas cards, bah, humbug. Why? One, in this country, to send a Christmas card, one Christmas card costs you $1. Okay? So if you send out 10, that's $10. I used to send out close to 50. So $50, not to mention the cost of your cards, your envelopes, and your time. Okay? I used to make my own Christmas cards. They usually featured our pussycat on there in many years. And as the years went by, I found ways to economize on this because I would give Christmas cards to everybody I worked with. So rather than mail it to them, I would take them into work and put them in their mailboxes at work. Walter would do pretty much the same for people that he worked for or with. Then I started looking at ones that I hadn't gotten Christmas cards from in a few years, and I thought, really, that's my only contact with those people. We've lost contact over the years, and I'm not a writer. I don't write one of those stupid Christmas newsletters. Hi. Well, we hope your home is having a Merry Christmas this year. Here's what we've done this year. Billy had his appendix out. That was good.
Oh, we
just had 3 grandchildren.
Used to get a really snotty one.
Oh, don't
we won't say who, but
oh God, I used to do dramatic readings from it. Oh God, you have a lot of fun with that. A glass of wine and a dramatic reading from someone's stupid newsletter about Christmas, about stuff I really don't get.
That comes off sounding very as if they were very highbrow and all this other stuff, and it's.
So that's another reason why bah humbug Christmas newsletters. If I cared that much about your life, we would probably be getting together on a regular basis. I don't need to know your little milestones through your last year. I mean, unless you have discovered a cure for cancer, that you now know how to feed the world so nobody ever goes hungry, and you've cured every incurable disease there is on the face of the planet, I don't really think it's newsletter worthy. So why bother? Simple as that.
Not only that, most people that stay in touch nowadays stay in touch through email.
Yeah, and Facebook.
Facebook or
and that's
something.
The other reason I don't send out Christmas cards, because why am I sending a Christmas card to people? I can just wish them a Merry Christmas on Facebook, which is exactly what I'll do. We get less and less Christmas cards every year. Well, that's probably because I don't send any out.
And people don't want to spend the money on Christmas cards, and they don't want to spend the money on postage either. So
I remember back when I was a kid, about early November, my mother would start the Christmas cards. She'd be sitting at the kitchen table. She had her address book out, and she'd be handwriting a note in every one of those bloody cards.
However, in those days, long distance fees were expensive, and so you could very well call somebody and just drop a bat. And there was no internet, and there was no connections that way or anything like that. So the only connection you had was through mail. It's just like my parents were from Holland, right? And in the days when I was young, to call back to Holland was an ordeal. You had to go through the overseas operator. I think I've said this before, and wait and get a phone call back, and you had to wait about 2 hours to make a phone connection. Then it would cost you $75 to talk for 10 minutes. Yeah. So and nowadays everybody's connected all over the world. You can make a phone call anywhere.
And I'm sorry, I don't think people really get that insulted if you don't send them a Christmas card anymore.
No, not nowadays, I think.
And someone on here has mentioned, I think it was Andy says, I make cards for a few people just because I like making cards. And Kathy says, I only make them for daughters and grands. And you want to know something? I agree. If you're going to make a card, and because you like to make cards, you only give it to people you know they're going to appreciate it. Because what happens to most Christmas cards? Let's face it. They put them up on display during the Christmas holidays. When they take down the Christmas decorations, the cards go in the garbage. Oh, I used to save them all. I had boxes of Christmas cards and birthday cards and all that kind of stuff, because I always thought I was going to make them into something, do a collage or something like that. Well, when I did the last major purge of my craft room, guess where all those went? In the garbage. I'd had them for years. I didn't do anything with them. Probably never would. Why are they taking up space?
Actually, that was weird when we were cleaning out my sister's place after she passed away. We found a box that had all kinds of birthday cards that she had been given over the years.
Yeah, well, actually, when my parents were cleaning out my grandmother's place many years ago, they found all kinds of cards. My grandmother could never find a card. She said, now, I thought I bought a card. She'd buy duplicates and all kinds of stuff. And it wasn't because she was losing her memory. Just she'd buy things in advance all the time, and then she'd put them away and couldn't find them. Phyllis says, my family is scattered, nieces, nephews, and such, so they get a Facebook greeting from me. I send out very few cards. I want to make cards, just haven't got around to it yet. And Tracy says, if I give my neighbor a $20 gift card to Wawa Gas, and she gets me the same thing, what's the point? Yeah, so let's move on from Christmas cards, bah humbug, not going to do them, to gifts. All right? Christmas is, you've heard the expression, for kids. It really is. When we were kids, yeah, Santa Claus, the gifts, as we got older, that was a big thing. But as you get older, what do you buy people? It's not so much the cost as much as it is, what do you get anybody? I mean, in our situation, we don't buy each other gifts. Because when we want something, we buy it. You know, I mean, I guess we're lucky that we can do that. First world problems, I don't know, that kind of thing. But, you know, we just buy it.
I don't really want to spend a whole lot of money on something that is stupid. One thing that is stupid and is a waste of money.
Well,
and the other thing is I'm afraid of getting him something that he doesn't like.
Well, yeah. But he's impossible to buy for, too.
Yeah, I am.
So, because
if I want it, I usually go and buy it, or I'll him and Han think about buying it.
But what we used to do in my family, when we all grew up, we would do gifts by pulling names. So you bought for one person. Well,
and then you always got one that you didn't want to buy for.
Yeah, well, then that became the fiasco, because then we go, who'd you get? Did you get her? Did you get her? Yeah, I did. Did you get it? Yeah, I did. Let's change. So, I mean, you might as well just pick out who you want to buy for. But then you ended up buying crap, because you didn't know what to get them. And we set a dollar amount on it, like $100 or something like that. And then somebody would always go over that or whatever. But you usually got something really stupid and useless, because you didn't know what to buy them. And that's
somebody would give me a selection of beers with associated glasses. Well, you've got all these beer glasses hanging around that you're never going to use again, type of thing.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. I mean, the number of useless gifts that I've gotten over the years. And so they say, well, it's the thought that counts. There wasn't any thought. Okay?
No,
because it was desperation.
An obligation, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, shit, I got to buy that damn thing or something and find it. So, you know, bah humbug on gifts. Now, having said that, we when the kids came along, when my siblings and that had children, when they were little, yeah, we bought for them. But I love doing that, because you go into Toys R Us and you go, whoa, we never had that when we were a kid. In fact, we did that the other day at Walmart, because you know that I made those 2 Christmas socks for our great nieces. And they're only, I'm still not sure how old they are. 7 or, what's the matter? You got something in behind you?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel warmth for some reason from here, and I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from.
Did you fart?
No.
No, okay. Never mind. So we got them a giant candy cane to put in each one of them, and a giant chocolate Santa. I mean, we're going to get these kids hepped up on and send them home with their parents on sugar. And I said, well, we should get them a little toy or something, but I don't know what little girls like to play with. So we're looking
some freaky stuff out there.
Oh yeah, there was some really freaky toys, and everything like does stuff. You know, try me, it says, squeeze me, push my belly button, you know, grab my eyeball, whatever, pull my tail, actually, stick a finger up my whatever.
That bunny thing that had a weird laugh or whatever. It's
that squishy bunny or something they called it.
Yeah, it was
Sunshine Bunny. It was Sunshine Bunny. And I don't know.
It was bizarre.
It looked...
Well, I don't watch cartoons, so I don't know. Maybe it's...
it was a hideous looking thing, too.
Yeah, I know.
So we ended up buying a couple of these... They're like Transformers, you know, those cars that make into robots or something kind of thing. This is a little animal, like you get a giraffe or an elephant or a dog, and they would convert into a bracelet. And I thought, well, that'd probably be kind of different and fun. They weren't that expensive. I think $8 at Walmart. So, yeah, I looked for things with choking hazards, but they're over the age of 3. Damn. But, you know, so another bah humbug. Buying gifts. Screw that idea. What else is bah humbug for Christmas for me? Decorating. As I said,
I always hated doing that.
You never did it.
I don't. Well, I did a little bit when I lived on my own.
Yeah, well, when we moved in, like,
when we moved in together, I did outside lights. He did everything inside.
Yeah, and you would always pick the coldest day of the year to put up the lights. Then you'd come in and go, oh, it's bloody cold out there. My hands are freezing off. It's ice, ice, ice. Well, and everything. So
I didn't do that this year.
No, because you got shamed into it because the neighbors on both sides put theirs
up. It was a warm day in November.
Yeah.
8 degrees.
So I used to decorate every room in the bloody house. Why did I do that? Because my mother always did that. That was her thing. My mother loved Christmas. She would start decorating in November. The bathroom was decorated. All the bedrooms were decorated. The hallways, the kitchen. She only lived in
a 900 square foot bungalow.
Yeah, so. But it was wall-to-wall Christmas decorations. I know because in the latter years, when she was in the house, I used to have to crawl into the thing underneath the stairs to dig out the boxes upon boxes upon boxes of Christmas decorations. And my mother was always very particular about what the Christmas tree would look like. In the old days when I was a little kid, there wasn't any such thing as designer Christmas trees then. It was like you had things on it that you'd kept in the family for years. Like there was stuff I made in grade 1, you know, the paper chains and things. My mother had saved those, put them in the box. They went on the tree every year. But as we grew up and moved away from home, my mother got more involved with the designer trees. So then she started putting, like, you know, your wired ribbon on it, and everything was coordinated and the whole bit.
That's when she felt she was rich too.
Yeah, that's right. It had to be elegant out of it all. And yeah, I like the designer trees. And someone recommended that Robson or Design.
Yeah, Robson Design. Yeah.
That, which I'm doing a review on her channel tomorrow in the vlog, but she's over the top. She does all these different Christmas trees, and to do one of her Christmas trees, you need $1,000.
Yeah, if not more. I think more.
They've got Swarovski crystals on them. They've got this, that, and then she shows you how to make a few of the decorations. Oh yeah, really? If you're going to spend this kind of money on them, why are you bothering to make anything with it too? So, decorating, I call it minimalist. We used to have a big tree, and before we went away at Christmas on a regular basis, I'd get that tree up, and it was all done in a theme. I had silver ribbon and silver things, and the tree looked very nice, and it was a pain in the ass, and most of the time Walter stayed away from the rec room when I was putting it up because I'd probably be down there cursing and swearing about it. And so last year when we couldn't escape for Christmas because of my mother, I said, I'm not putting up that big sucker of a tree. So we bought a small little tree pre-lit, and we put it on our bistro table, and you'll see it in the video tomorrow. And it's minimal decorations on it. It looks cute. There it is, done. I put a few other things up, and that's it. I call it minimalist. And the only reason I'm putting some of those things up is because we're having Christmas dinner here with people. So, you know, you got to make it look festive. And bah humbug number 3 about Christmas. Christmas dinner. All right? Christmas dinner. Especially in this day and age when you have people who, I have to be gluten-free, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a Hare Krishna, whatever, on the whole bit. Fortunately, in our family, we only have one person that has a problem. He can't have basically sugar. Well, that's okay. We can work around that.
I mean, that isn't really that's not a choice kind of thing. So,
like if he had it his way, he'd be able to have the sugar. But he had a heart attack and a whole bit, and he's
no, he has diabetes in his family, and as he got older, he got more and more sugar intolerant. So. Yeah.
So, anyways, I have to sit there and I have to plan it. And before I plan it, after I plan it, I have to go out and get the food. And when you buy food at Christmas time, that's expensive. Now, I save up, for those of you, I don't know how many people are familiar with Loblaws and the Great Canadian Superstore and this, and PC products, they call them, President's Choice. It's a company up here. I have we have a PC MasterCard, which means we get points all the time on whatever we buy. And those points can be used to buy things at their grocery stores. So I save them up. I save them up for special events when I know I'm going to have a lot of people
and
for
actually
dinner.
They collect pretty quickly.
Yeah, we've got about $300 worth of points that I can cash in. Like, so when we buy the turkey and that kind of stuff, I'll use some of the points towards that. It's not like we're on the bony knees of poverty. It's just, I got the points, why not use them? Okay? He's constantly on my back. You got points. You know how many points we've got? I'm saving them for something special. Yeah, whatever. So, and then you got to cook it. Okay? And I like to pre-cook as much as I possibly can beforehand, like not 2 weeks before, but the day before and that kind of stuff, so that I don't want to be trapped up in the kitchen. It doesn't matter, you still are. You're waiting on everybody, you're trying to make sure everybody's having a good time and the whole bit. At least that's how I do it, because that's being a good host. Rather than they walk in the front door, you throw a plate at them and go, help yourself, great, we'll see you sometime later. Would you mind washing your dish before you leave too? Oh, and then there's the booze. We got to get booze. Forgot about that. We got to stock up on the booze. Anyways, I keep a list of what I've done each Christmas on my computer, and I have my menus. So I just pull those back up and go, oh, maybe make a few changes here and there, but usually it's the same old stuff. You're going to have turkeys. You're going to have scallop potatoes. We're going to have some kind of vegetable. We may have some kind of salad. Usually I prefer coleslaw. It's winter kind of a thing. That's family tradition on that. You got to have cranberries. Oh, got to look for fresh cranberries. They seem to be scarce these days. I like to do the fresh cranberries because they just taste better, I think. Then, I don't like the cranberry jelly. The stuff you take it out of the can and you have to smooth the rings off before you serve it, so people don't know what's in the can, but everybody does know what's in a can because it's the size of a can, it's the shape of a can, and it's jelly. It's red jelly. I like fresh cranberries, except they make a bloody mess. Make sure you've got a good lid on your pot and don't let them boil over. Oh my God, that stuff, when it boils over onto your burners, you're scraping it off for another year. It's a pain. So that's another bah humbug, is the whole thing with food. And of course you always overeat. And you can have a lot of sweet stuff, and then there's always leftovers. So you're not just like one day of the year where you're having a lot of calories. It continues.
No, that it's turkey forever.
Oh yeah. And after a while you just go, what else can I do with this bird? So that's another bah humbug. The other bah humbug are the people out there with their little bloody drums looking for money for things. And I'm talking about the Salvation Army.
I think you talked about
it. And I think I talked about it. So I gave my first one of my little vouchers that I talked about last week into my first one. Of course, where does the Salvation Army hang out the most? Liquor stores, beer stores. Of course. They're right there to make you feel guilty that you're spending your money on sin. Yeah, no, I don't feel guilty. But boy, they're getting smart. Their little buckets have a hole about this big in the top of it. If you're to put money in there that isn't a coin, you've got to fold it up real carefully. But there is a sign that says you can donate with Interact or a Visa or a MasterCard now. Yeah, no, not the Salvation Army. I'm not. The Salvation Army can burn in hell because that's what they want to do to us. So, tit for tat. But everybody wants a handout at that time of the year, and they play on your sympathies and your emotion. And a lot of the commercials on TV are all playing to this, time for family and friends, and there's starving people over in Africa or somewhere else in the world, and can't you give a little bit to save a walrus or whatever's extinct at this time, or adopt a puppy? Really? Don't play on my emotions at that time of the year. Play on it on the other times of the year, because no. This makes me feel bad about Christmas if I'm not giving to other people. And I know there's people who do this thing on Christmas where they go out and they go to a homeless shelter and serve meals. Oh, That's really nice. And the news writes about and go, oh, this family of the Smiths, a family of 5, go every year on Christmas Day and decide instead of giving gifts to everyone, they're going to go down and donate their money to the homeless shelter and serve food for the homeless people in the lineup. And then you feel bad because you feel like a horrible human being because you're not doing this. Do they do that any other days of the year? Probably not. So bite me on that one. So bah humbug on all that kind of stuff.
It just reminded me.
What?
Of something. I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow, right?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and they're doing a food drive for... So...
They're doing what?
A food drive for...
Oh, yeah, there's another bah humbug. Okay, food drives. Again, playing on our emotions and guilt.
However, some people have to eat. You know?
Well, I know they have to eat. But, okay, I'm talking about our country. Our country is a socialistic country.
However, there's still lots of people that don't.
I don't resent giving food to the food bank. I don't think that's a bad thing. What I think is it's the way they play. They take Easter and they take Thanksgiving and they take Christmas, all those ones, and they appeal to our emotions so they get more donations. Well, okay, I suppose how else are you going to get the donations? You got to play on the emotional part of it. But everybody wants my money at this time of the year. And they make you feel like you're a horrible person because you don't give it. In the liquor store the other day, would you like to make a donation to Sick Kids Hospital? Sick Kids Hospital is a world famous hospital in Toronto. And they're doing a major rebuild. Well, it's probably time to do it. Now, they do wonderful things. But
yes,
one, I don't have children, okay, so I don't use their services. 2, I do donate money, it's called taxes, that they do get a fair amount from every year as grants. I mean, I think they do wonderful work in the whole bit, but anything that's a medical organization, when they're looking for donations, I wonder how much of that money actually goes.
Actually, there was a thing that came out a few years ago that showed the administration costs of all these charitable organizations. And unfortunately, Sick Children Hospital in Toronto has the highest administration cost. Only 40% of your donation goes to the actual fund it's supporting.
So
everything else is administration. So for every $1 you give, 60% of it's going to administration. Administration of these fundraising activities and that.
Yeah. So that's what I have a problem with. That kind of thing. So, bah humbug on Christmas again.
So it really turned me off of giving to say, I used to give to sick kids all the time. And then it really made me think twice about giving to them when I found out that 60% of my donation was going to administration. Yeah, I know there has to be administration costs and stuff like that, but 20% or 25% might be reasonable, but 60% I think is unreasonable.
Yeah, I think so. So what's everybody saying here? Because there's been a lot of chatter on here. Let's see. Phyllis says, my sister got a can of Spam. She kept it over a year, and the following year went into the gift pile with a recipe for things to make with Spam. And Andy says, I was crazy. I used to do theme trees decorations every year. Now I use the same decorations. Most are cross-stitch decorations I made or ornaments I've gotten from national parks. And Phyllis says, the White House is full of red trees. Melania certainly wasn't being her own best. And Priest said, it looks like a red light district. And then Andy says to Phyllis, she's probably seeing red because of everything that's coming out about her husband. Oh, Luch is here. Hi, Luch. Phyllis says, I'm over the Christmas dinner thing. Take me out to eat. I'll pay for my own meal. Actually, at my art journal class last week, one of the ladies was saying that what they do is they order, like there's grocery stores. There's one in particular in our area called Farm Boy. And I guess you can order your entire dinner. It'll feed 6 to 8 people. It's about $130 for it. The turkey is already cooked. They got everything there. And she says they even throw in a few freebies as well. And they give you a list as to the timings. So all you have to do is heat the turkey up. So they say 2 hours before you're going to serve it, put your turkey in your oven, blah, blah, blah. And then it says at this point now, heat up this, that, and the other stuff that you've got. She said it was great, and she said it fed more than 6 to 8 people. She had lots of leftovers. And I thought, for $130, that doesn't sound bad. Because turkeys alone, depending on the size you get and what kind you get, they run, what's a turkey run these days?
$20.
20, 30, depends on the size or whatever, or if you get it on sale. And not to mention all the time. And she says what she liked was she could put it all in, she followed their list, she could spend time with her grandchildren and the whole bit, wasn't anchored to the kitchen. So I thought, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. The only problem is that place I don't think takes PC points. So I couldn't use my points for that. And also Walter wouldn't go for it. So, because I don't know why.
Well, we cooked a day before anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Don't want to try anything
Well, it
new.
doesn't matter. We can do that if you want.
No, I don't want to do it now.
It's probably too late. You have
probably, yes. Well, that's what.
Order by
yes,
now.
that's what this person told me. Luch says, hellos from Lionel and I. Sorry we're late to join in. Got busy with some scan and cut stuff. Did you get this done, Luch? I finished mine, and it worked this time. It's not that horrendous mess I showed you yesterday. Luch is in my embroidery class, too. Let's see. Phyllis says, thank Trump for missing cranberries, him and his trade tariffs. And then Tracy says, the Salvation Army discriminates against gays at shelters. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not just that. They discriminate against gays, period. And that's why I'm not giving them any money. Screw them. And did you know that those people that are out there ringing the bell or standing by the drum, actually, I don't see them ringing any bells anymore. They just stand there like a lump with a red apron.
A lot of them are hired.
Yeah, they're hired. So, okay, that's one good thing about Christmas then. It's opportunity to give some people on a low income extra money at Christmas if they stand by the drum. And that's, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I used to think that they were like volunteers and stuff, but I remember, but I talked to someone and they said that was Salvation Army. And they said, no, they hire them at Christmas time because there's not enough volunteers to go around.
Yeah.
But so part of your donation goes to paying that.
Yeah. Well, Tracy says, I want to pay more taxes if homeless and mentally ill get help. And actually, you want to know something? I agree with that. If we could get people off the streets and that, and in our country, we're taxed very high. I was going to say to death. There's other countries in the world that have higher taxes than we do. But yes, I mean, that's the whole, I feel that's where the money should go. It should go to help those that need help. But of course, our government thinks it should go to like arms and, you know, things that don't really matter.
Or they get welfare, but they don't really get enough, so.
Luch says, are the instructions like our in-class embroidery paper instructions? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. See, it wasn't really the instructions that I blew on that one, Luch. When I blew it because I blew it. And then I tried to correct my bloopers and that just made it worse. So, but now it worked. I'm happy. Oh, this is the back, by the way, people. It is reversible. But there you go. I may get another one made before Christmas. We'll see. He says, Luch says, I have to start mine. Kathy says, my granddaughter and her mother did that last year with her Girl Scout troop. Yeah. And, oh, Glenn's here. Haven't seen you in a while, Glenn. So anyways, the bottom line is why I don't like Christmas. I don't hate it. It's just, it's not like the Christmas when I was a kid.
Well, you know what I like the other
nothing's
day,
like it was when
I
was
was
a kid.
out and it was on Friday, so I think a lot of people took Friday off because it was so busy everywhere. And that's the other thing. Everybody's like in a panic. They're out buying stuff for other people and they got to get all this stuff done, and it's like it's stressful and everybody's uptight that they can't get anything done and they got to get all these Christmas gifts, and that's the part that I hate. Yeah, so I really like that we're not doing Christmas gifts, because then that means I don't have to go to the malls and I don't have to get stressed out and I don't have to do all that stuff.
Yeah, buying gifts for other people is stressful at that time of the year because you gotta get that perfect gift. You know, that's what they tell us on the commercials, isn't it? They look and go, oh, this is just what I wanted. That's so perfect.
You do what what a lot of guys do. They get their wives to do all the Christmas shopping. And then what they do is they go December 24th, they go to the mall and buy something shiny for their wife.
Yeah, well,
go to a jewelry store.
My father, I would have, in the latter part of my father's life, before he went into the nursing home and then kicked off. Sorry if that's being hurtful to other people, but it's my father. He would say to me, oh, can you go out and get something for your mother for me for Christmas? Any ideas, Dad? I don't know what to get her. My mother, oh, we're back on my mother. Oh, there were some Christmases where there were tears. Because my father bought the wrong gift. Yeah. And, oh, I remember those. And then he puts this on my shoulders. And then I'd say, you know, I have a sister. Isn't she better qualified for buying something for a woman than I am? I mean, the one thing I used to buy for my mother or things is, I like the look of earrings. I wouldn't wear them, but, I mean, because my ears aren't pierced and I don't like those snap-ons because they just hurt. But I would buy my mother some nice earrings. In fact, we probably have them here, because I have all her jewelry here, pretty much, because you can't have much in the home. But anyways, so I would be going out, not only shopping for who I had to shop for, but I had to shop for my father as well. And that gave me stress, too. So, I mean, basically, I understand why people commit suicide at Christmas.
And not only that, okay, you get past all the holidays and everything else, and then it's major letdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have been so busy doing for Christmas, and then the Christmas tree has to come down, and then it's a big depression time for a lot of people.
Yeah, because Christmas is a very social time
and then
for a lot of
people. And then there's all the people that overspend and buy too much stuff.
Oh, and then they get the Visa bill. Yeah, no.
I used to work for an insurance company many years ago, and everybody's checks would bounce in January because they didn't have enough money in their accounts to pay for stuff.
Yeah, and Luch, sure, this is up for sale for you. I was going to charge $500, but for you, $499. Okay, no problem. Will that be check, Visa, MasterCard, or e-transfer? I can take them all. No problem. As Luch said, I think I will have to buy your project and let her think I made it. Yeah, nice try. Not happening. So anyways, yeah. Now, what I was saying, I loved Christmas when I was a kid. It was a magical time.
I think everybody did sort of when you were a kid.
That's why I say Christmas is for kids. As adults, it's pretty much too much stress, bah humbug. And then you've got New Year's on the week later from that. And everybody's going, what are we going to do for New Year's? What are we going to do for New Year's? But we'll save that discussion for when we get closer to that with all of that. I don't want to jinx it, but people, we are 69, 70 minutes into this broadcast, and we're not frozen. Don't anybody breathe.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay, moving on. Newsworthy. Okay, so, not that this means much to anybody except Canadians, and it probably doesn't mean that much to Canadians, but this week there was what they call the First Ministers Conference. I think they were having it in Montreal this year, where all the premiers, which are the heads of each of our provinces, sort of like little mini prime ministers for the province, probably for the Americans, the equivalent of a governor, okay, of your state kind of a deal. They all get together to discuss with the prime minister and his people what's happening in the country, what we're doing, whatever they talk about. Our premier, Ford, aka Trump number 2, he goes into this meeting with a list of demands for our prime minister, with the threat that if the prime minister would not consider these demands, actually I don't think it was considered, if the prime minister would not fulfill these demands, he was not going to attend the conference. He would turn right back around and come back to Ontario. Montreal's in Quebec, if you didn't know that. Quebec's the province beside us, if you didn't know that. Quebec's the big mass that sits over top of Maine. Okay, if you didn't know that. I don't know. I sometimes feel I have to point out directions because most Americans don't know that there is a world beyond the 49th parallel. What's the 49th parallel? That's a latitudinal line that which is the border between our country and the United States. Okay, so we've got that. Geography lesson is over. So he goes in and makes these demands. Well, our Prime Minister is no idiot. I guess he stayed, but I don't know what he did, but somehow our Prime Minister did not give in to him, as he should not, because his demands are ridiculous. You know, they're kind of the equivalent to let's build a wall, okay, kind of thing. And I guess they went through with the conference. But the arrogance, the idiocy, the stupidity of this stupid idiot, our premier of our province, going in and thinking that he has the power to demand things from the federal government.
Well, not only that, he also said that, well, when he decided he was going to go and attend, he said, well, he thought that this whole thing was going to be the Prime Minister just lecturing the ministers, that it wouldn't be open discussion.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's idiotic.
Well, it's also oh shoot, I lost the term. Went right out of my head. For Ford to think that all the Prime Minister is going to talk at them, that's the pot calling the kettle black, because that's all Ford does.
Yeah.
Too. So whatever. Oh, isn't it nice that we now have our own Trump here? We now pick on our own version of him, don't have to pick on the Americans anymore.
The only thing he doesn't do is tweet, because I don't think Ford knows what tweet is.
Oh, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't figure that one out. Let's see, what are people saying? Luch says, Christmas should be all year, just like Valentine's Day and Remembrance Day should be.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, Luch. You're making me sick. I didn't think you were that kind of person. Okay, well, whatever. We'll talk later. Jetty says, bedtime, sorry. I have to go. 11 out here. Have a nice time. Okay, Jetty, we'll see you next week. And Glenn, Trump is still the worst. Yes, he is. But let's not talk politics anymore. That's all. I just feel that I need to put in what our idiot is doing so you guys don't feel as bad. That his disease is spreading, unfortunately. Okay, so what's eating Walter? I have a blank line. What are you pissed off at this week?
I don't know.
He's been busy. Booking our Australia trip and all the places and the hotels and things like that. So he's my private travel agent.
I always have a hard time finding. Well, actually, I've been doing pretty good on this.
You do pretty good.
But this one, we're going to Darwin, and Darwin's not very big.
Okay, so let's draw a map of Australia today, children. Here's Australia. All right. Here's Sydney. Here's Melbourne. Adelaide. Perth. Been there. Done that.
No, you're actually
what?
Incorrect.
What do you mean? It's my map. I drew it.
You're incorrect. If this is Australia, right? Sydney's down here. Melbourne's down here. I'm going backwards here. Sydney's down here. Melbourne's down here. Adelaide's here. Perth is here. Right?
No.
Yes.
You go... Oh, wait. That's in reverse. Okay. I was looking at that, and that's the reverse.
Okay, so Sydney's over here. Brisbane's up here. Cairns is up here. And Darwin's up here at the top.
Okay. I stand to be corrected, as always. All right. Anyways.
Since I'm booking it, I have to know where the places are on the map. Well, Darwin is a very small city of their cities.
Is it the furthest north?
It's it's not, technically it's not the furthest north, but it's the furthest north of their, what they call major cities.
And you said it's only about, what, 90 kilometers or 90 miles from the equator?
No, it's something like 90 miles away from Bali.
Oh, we just get a little paddle boat and travel over to Bali.
I'm not sure how far it is from the equator, but it's not far, and it's hot all the time.
So, anyways, at least we'll know that. And Tracy says, where is the Gold Coast? Would you draw the map?
Now, Sydney's down there. Brisbane's here. Gold Coast is in between Sydney and Brisbane. Actually, it's about 50 miles south of Brisbane. That's where the Gold Coast is.
Okay. So, another educational geography moment. Glenn says, hey, we're going to Australia in 2019 too. My nephew is living there. Okay. Glenn, have you ever been there before? If not, you're going to love it. I love it. That's why we're going this trip number 3 to Australia.
Yeah, so last time we went to Melbourne, we drove to Adelaide, we flew to Perth, and then we flew back to Sydney. So this time we're flying to Brisbane, and then I'm not going to drive to Cairns because I figured that there isn't a whole lot between. So we're getting a car in Brisbane and driving around in this area, doing the Gold Coast, and then flying to Cairns, and then flying to Darwin and back to Brisbane.
And hopefully we will not hit a kangaroo.
So the only thing that we would not have seen while we've been in Australia from major things is we'll never have seen Ayers Rock. But I looked again at that the other day, and it's a lot of money to go to see a rock.
That you can't climb, not that I would want to anyways, and they have, what's even worse, there's no concessions stands. You can't get a pop or a hamburger or nothing there. So, I mean, if you're not going to feed me when I'm looking at your attraction, I'm not going to.
I have a feeling we need to plan a few trips in Darwin, because when I'm looking in Darwin, there isn't a lot to do in Darwin.
Well, we'll figure it out. It will be fine. Phyllis has got to go. Bye, Phyllis. Tracy says, where's PD Mines? I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Cooper Pedy.
Cooper Pedy
is where Cooper Pedy is in the outback. It's actually a city that's supposedly completely underground. We didn't go there. No. Completely underground. Most of it because it's hot, right? And that's where they do all the opal mining. Most of the opal mining. So anyway, Sydney's here. Melbourne's here. Adelaide's in the middle at the bottom, right? Cooper Pedy straight north of Adelaide. About, I can't remember how far north of Adelaide. It's about a couple hours, it might be longer than that. I'm not sure exactly, but it's up straight north of Adelaide.
Okay. And Precy says, Stephen, watch out for drop bears. What are drop bears? The only kind of bears I never watch out for that I like are the, well, you know what kind I'm talking about.
Drip bears.
No, drop bears, not drip bears. But anyways, he's been planning this all out, so will be off to see whatever this time. And that means then, principally, we've seen a lot, after this trip, a lot of Australia. With the exception, well, we've seen the outback too, but we've never traveled through it. We've seen the beginnings of the outback, and, well, there's not a heck of a lot to see in the outback. What?
Drop bears.
What are they? Oh, they look like vicious little creatures.
It's a folklore.
Oh, it's a folklore? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Precy's laughing now.
Carnivorous version of koala.
Yeah, Walter just Googled it.
Yeah.
So there's. And Glenn says, she's been watching The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Yes, one of my favorite movies. Seen it many times. And have it on DVD. So anyways, nothing's pissing Walter off. Okay, so brings us to, what are we watching on TV? Not a heck of a lot. I'm watching still Outlander, and I'm just getting towards the tail end of the first season. I do love that show, though. I didn't think I would, because I read the first book. I liked the first book, but I thought, holy crap, though, has it ever got a lot of sex in it. And last week, Captain Randall whipped it out and played with it right there on the spot. And I went, wow, no wonder women like this show. Jeez. Obviously, they put that on a channel that...
I've been watching a lot. I've been doing the Australia booking, but I did finish the last show.
Yeah.
I think I said that before.
Yeah, you did. Good for you. At the movies, haven't been to one. But what's coming up next week on December the 14th is the opening of Mortal Engines. And remember, I read all the books in that series. It's about the future after all these wars and stuff, and the cities, great cities of the world, are put up on big wheels, and they're predators. They go out and search for smaller towns that are on wheels and attack them. It's very steampunkish in some ways too, but the books were great. I loved the books, so I'm sure they'll kill the movie. But that comes out on the 14th, so I'm looking kind of forward to seeing that one.
Wouldn't mind seeing Bohemian Rhapsody, but it's almost out of the theaters now.
Oh, so. Is it? Well, we could have gone. Oh, Precy says, a drop bear is a hoax in contemporary Australian folklore featuring a predatory carnivorous version of the koala. This imaginary animal is spoken about in tall tales designed to scare tourists.
Oh. Well, I get enough people saying, oh, well, you shouldn't go to Australia because there's all these deadly things there and all this other stuff. But I don't know, so far we haven't had any problems. So
Glenn says, what is that TV show you were just talking about? It's called Outlander. It's about a woman. It's based on a book by Diane Gabba something. Gabrielle, something like that, whatever. Anyways, she and her husband are honeymooning after the Second World War. It's late 1945, early 1946. They're in a Scottish town. It's English. They're English. They're in a Scottish town. She goes up to a set of ruins that sort of look like a miniature version of like Stonehenge. And somehow she touches one of the stones and she ends up in 1745 in Scotland. And of course, it's a historical romance kind of a thing, but there's a fair amount of blood and guts in it. And like I said, a whole lot of sex. So she meets up with this Outlander guy. You know, and yes, you do find out what they wear under their kilts, and I can tell you, it is nothing. And he's like, well, he's hunky. I mean, just watch it for him. And I say another reason why the women like this show a lot. My mother watched it a lot. And I went, oh, and the stuff I've seen now, I'm going, oh my God, my mother's watching this. Okay, whatever. But it's good. And anyways. I like that kind of novel in a way. I do like historical romance to a bit, as long as it doesn't get too sort of like, oh, there he is, and my heart's all a-fluttered. Oh, fiddly-dee, fiddly-dee, fiddly. Like that makes me sick. But yeah, so it's worth the watch. The production quality of it, I think, is very good. So, anyways, so on YouTube. Now, last week I probably mentioned this, but that's when we got cut off, and then there was some audio, and then I lost that part of it. And knock wood, we're doing well today. Fingers crossed. Don't jinx it. Mike Deacon is back, and most of you probably know who I'm referring to. He hasn't done a vlog in a long time, but he started... Now, he didn't do a vlog this week, though, but he did one last week, and that was the first one he's done in about a month and a half or more. See, his house got broken into. Mike Deacon, by the way, is what I consider one of the gurus on YouTube for mixed media stuff. I follow him all the time. He's sort of the English version of Tim Holtz, I think. And if you don't know who Tim Holtz is, I'm not going to explain it. This is for the crafters out there. Anyways, I guess they're buying a new house. They don't want to be in the same place where they got burglarized before, and I think they move into that or take possession of it next week or something. So I think that's one reason why he hasn't been doing the vlogs. Plus, they stole his good equipment, his Max with an S, really, poverty-stricken nut. So anyways, he's back on there, and he's always worth the watch. So he is doing his 7 days of Christmas or something right now on stuff. So he's very inspirational. And what am I reading right now? So I have a Kobo membership. And if you don't know what a Kobo is, it's the equivalent to a Kindle, electronic reader. And I love my electronic reader. And I can buy books right on it whenever I want them. Well, I belong to a thing where I pay $10 a year and I get discounts on all the books. And I get points. Actually, what I get is points, and you add up and you get a free book. Well, because I renewed my membership this year, which I didn't have any say in because it automatically renewed, I could pick a free book. Now, not just any free book, though. They had like categories where you go in. Well, I found one in there, which is sort of science fiction, called Subhuman, by a guy named Michael McBride. Now, I've heard that name before. I think he's got a fair number of books out that are very spacey. What I mean by that, you know, science fiction kind of thing. And what appealed to me when I read the description of the book is because I love these conspiracy theories or whatever, where they think that the Earth is hollow and there's a whole race of aliens living down there and the Nazis knew about them during the Second World War, but the entranceway is in the Antarctic. Well, this has parts of that in it, and there's this other species popping up. So far, it's kind of a good read. I mean, it's not deep, that's for sure, but, you know, sometimes I just enjoy a book that doesn't make me think. Just keeps me entertained. So that's what I'm reading now, Subhuman by Michael McBride. What's cooking? Well, I pulled out chicken breasts this morning because I was going to do chili chicken, I thought, but instead we're doing chicken Madras. Indian. We're doing Indian tonight. So, because we like Indian.
Well, that's because I suggested something else.
Are you going to make it too?
No, you're going to make it. That's your job.
Oh, that's my job to make it, but you told me what you want. When you make dinner and you say, what do you want? And I go, I don't know.
Yeah, but you always make chili chicken.
I do not. I haven't made chili chicken in a long time.
You always make it.
Bull. And you always make chicken parmesan.
Well, so what?
Well, whatever.
Well, you...
oh, Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. So anyways, that's what's cooking tonight. Walter made a steak in the sous vide last night. So we had that. And the sous vide is great. Everything always comes out perfect in that. We did buy, our anniversary's coming up on December the 21st. So we have in the past gotten live lobsters. Well, I have them cook them in the store because I can't take that thing, even though they're ugly as sin, and throw it in the hot water. Like, no. I mean, they're delicious, but I don't want to see them being cooked. You know, it's the same with cows. You know, I like hamburger. I don't want to kill it for myself. Out of sight, out of mind. So anyways, Costco had frozen lobster tails or something for, what was it, $28?
$28 for 4.
And you thought that was a good deal?
I thought that was okay price.
Yeah, okay, so whatever. So we'll do those. We'll probably do surf.
Wasn't like
surf.
A super cheap deal, but it's an okay price.
Yeah, well, whatever. So that's coming up. It's in December. December the 21st. The shortest day of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere. So, anyways, pretty darn good. We're up to, what, 89 minutes? And we only had that little glitch at the beginning? Wow. This is positive. Okay, so that means that either
we did something right.
We did something right on this, or YouTube or Apple found a glitch and fixed it. And right now I'm thinking it was a glitch that YouTube
had. Well, I doubt
had.
it was Apple because we would have had an update.
Yeah, that's true, and we didn't. Priest says, Aldi is selling a cheap sous vide appliance for Christmas. Well, they're good. So.
Well, you can't do. I haven't really tried chicken in it, but it's good if you like steaks and red meat. It's actually very good for that. It's good to. You can make. What do you call it? Creme brulee easily in it because it's a nice even temperature, and you can. It does lobster really well.
Yeah.
And
so. I would say if they've got it on for a good price, go for it. Because
you do need a, you don't have to have it. You can use Ziploc bags, but but it's easier if you have, what do you call it, a vacuum sealer.
What he didn't just say to you, and that you may have already figured out, was when he talked about the bags, is you have to seal your food in a white waterproof bag. It's got a good sealant because it's a bath. You immerse your food into this hot water bath, and the sous vide keeps the water at a constant temperature that cooks your food.
Right.
But
so you can use a Ziploc bag. You just put it in put your food in it, put it in water, and evacuate all the air, and that works okay. That's what I did originally, but it's a little easier if you have vacuum sealed bags that you put your food in.
Yep.
And what like sous vide does is, like you cook a steak. We like it sort of medium rare, and I set the sous vide at 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and put the bag in and let the steak sit in there for 3 to 4 hours, and 2 hours minimum, around 3 hours, maximum 4 hours, and then you take it out and you sear it, and you're done.
Well, thank you for the cooking lesson. And that was brought to you by Wally Cooks. Okay? So.
But actually, what's nice is you get a perfectly done steak and it's nice and tender.
Mm-hmm. Got that.
Okay, fine.
Good to know. I was just telling her it was a good thing if she got it for a good price. But...
Well, you got to know what you're getting into.
Okay. Anyways, Ilona's here. Hi, Ilona. We're leaving now. Not because of you. So, anyways, my wine is gone. That means that our time is up. I'm really happy that we only had that little glitch at the very beginning, but we did not freeze, so keep our fingers crossed that this is the norm now and not the exception to it all. And we'll see you guys next Sunday. It'll be the same time, 4 o'clock. Don't have anything on, so I don't have to worry about changing the time. Check my vlog tomorrow when it comes out. And... have a great week, and don't get too stressed out with your Christmas preparation. So,
yeah.
See you later. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.